Welcome back, everybody. This is 7177 here with the ARC Dev Kit tutorial. Some of basic, kind of how to get in and just make some basic things and play around with it. In the first video, we created our primal game data, test game mode, and our test level. We uploaded our primal game data over here. Make sure it says what this is. In this video, we're going to create a custom tranquilizer dart that can be used with our long neck rifle. So we're going to go ahead and go up to game. We're going to start getting some files. Let's go with Tranq Dart. So we'll grab the engram. Once again, as always, you want to make copies. You never want to move items because you don't want to edit or take away from the base files. We're going to grab that one, and we're going to grab this primal item ammo Tranq Dart here. We're going to go ahead and drag this over. Copy that in. And then as always, we want to rename our files. So we're going to go ahead and leave this as engram entry YouTube Dart 1. You really want to kind of come up with a naming method when you're starting this before, because it'll just help later on. You never want to leave things as a base name just due to the way GFIs and spawn codes, and you don't want to get anything confused with the base items. So we're going to go ahead and rename this primal ammo. Actually, we'll leave that as Tranq Dart _ YouTube _ Dart 1. All right, we'll start with the easy one with the engram entry here. So we'll kind of go by this line by line to a bit. Required character level 62. So that's the base level you get the dart. We can leave that. Engram points 30. We'll just go ahead and make it 0. You can make that whatever you want. Give blueprint to player inventory, which means you can craft it in your player inventory. Can be manually unlocked. You want that checked so you can actually unlock it. And then our blueprint entry form here says primal item ammo Tranq Dart, which we want to go ahead and change that to what we're at. So it's going to reference our item. If you want to add any details here, as you hover over it, and then here's our crafting recipe. We have arrowstone, narcotic, and not crafting recipe, the prior engrams that are required. So you have to know simple rifle bullet, narcotic, and arrowstone. We can just go ahead. We will delete that, and just change that to engram entry Tranq Dart. Okay. That's good to go. We'll save that. And you can kind of just work your way through ladder-wise a lot of this. So like a new item opens up another item. So we'll go from here. We'll go straight to Tranq Dart. We'll open up our item here. Most of the time, on most items, you can kind of get by with just doing show only modified properties. All right. Let's do this. Expand all. So starting at the top. So primal item weapon one-shot rifle is the long neck rifle, the base one. And it'll have it again here. If you're going to always use this on a regular weapon, you never want to change this. And we're not going to drag this in and create new ones either, because I want this to, if I was creating my own weapon, I would use that. All right, so looking down, we have weapon one-shot rifle Tranq. We do not have one of those. We actually need this file. So we're going to go ahead and hit the content browser. That highlights it right there. We're going to drag it up to our folder. Copy here. Then we're going to go back. We're going to rename this YouTube _ Dart 1. If you are making multiple darts, you'll need one of these for every dart. All right, so now that we have that, we're going to reference that. Reference that right there as well. If you were adding extra, say you had other weapons that you created, you would add them here. So you would just insert or duplicate and then change it to whatever item you have. But we're just going to go with the base weapon on this one. We'll give it a new name, a YouTube test dart. That will be the actual name of it. And we'll just go ahead and just copy that right there. Blueprint time to craft, 1 second. Crafting requirements. So it has narcotics, metal ingots, simple rifle bullet. Just for testing, I'm going to go ahead and just clear these. You can also you can go up to the child portion here and delete. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it thatch. 1 thatch. All right, this is the icon. Okay, so crafting requires inventory component. So primal inventory blueprint. Jeez, I can't speak. Anvil bench. So this right here, this is where it gets tricky. Is if you're going to make just modded items without making your own crafting station, completely new crafting station, you got to remove this and just craft it from your inventory. Because you cannot go in without making a whole new one and add to this. So I'm going to show you. I'm not going to edit this because this is a core file. So we're going to go ahead and open it just so you can see what I mean. You can see right here the default inventory items. These are all the items that you can make in there. You cannot add to this list because this is a base file list. This is not yours. So do not do that. So if you want to create this in a container, you need to make your own crafting station, which I did in my my mods that I have up there. I have my own crafting station, so you don't have to craft anything in your inventory. So we're going to go ahead and just delete that. Doesn't require anything. And then we can give us a fancy icon here. So we'll go ahead, we'll kick the magnifying glass to bring us to the base file. We're going to drag that file, bring it up here. We're going to copy. We're going to rename. I like to keep everything the same pretty much. That way it's there. All right. And then say we'll just change this to 250. You know, you can play around with it. It'll be blue. All right. And then we're going to reference that. And there we go. So doing one more check, we're going to drag onto the rifle. The rifle, we're going to create our own weapon one shot. We're going to go there. Okay. Base crafting is 1 thatch. All right. That looks good. Next up, we have our weapon one shot rifle. All right. Don't care about the animation. I don't care about the mesh. All right. So here we go. Weapon ammo item template. This referenced the base Tranq Dart right here. So we're going to change that to our Tranq Dart right there. And then the projectile class, you have to change this. We don't have one of those yet, so we're going to make one. Because we're going to modify the values. We'll make it do a lot. And I'll go over actually how the values work as well. All right, rename as always. All right, we're going to reference our item there. If you want to change the sounds that it makes when it shoots, instead of the little tink sound, you can make it sound like an assault rifle or a shotgun or whatever you want. Okay, weapon configuration. This is where you can change the ammo per clip and the ammo per shot. So you can make it take 7 ammo per shot, or you can have a clip of 20. So we'll actually, let's see if it'll work with 5 without changing too much. Uses ammo. Okay. And that's all good. We'll go ahead and save that. We'll open up our projectile now. Okay. See here, we'll leave the transform down. Static mesh, you don't have to change. That's just what it looks like when it's flying through the air. Particles, we're not going to mess with. Emitter actions, pickup. Nope. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and just do that. So if you wanted to, like in a crossbows, when you fire crossbows, sometimes you have a chance to pick back up a stone arrow. This is where you do that. You would pick up whatever it say here, and then you'd put the chance % there. The projectile speed, I do not recommend touching this because it goes with a lot of how the game works and the engine works and the distance and all that. I wouldn't mess with it. You can very well break something. And if you are going to do anything, take a screenshot, save it so you know how to go back to it. All right, so weapon configurations, projectile life, how far, basically how long the thing will last, explosion damage, impulse, direct damage. So this is the actual damage that the ammo will, the the shot will do. It will do 26 damage, and this is directly related to the amount of Torpor that it's going to do. So if we go over here and we look, Tranquilizer darts, they deal 26 base damage, 600% of the damage dealt instantaneously, as well as an additional 250% damage over the next 5 seconds, for a total of 221. That's going to make sense here in a second. Arc, everything in Arc works on things that multiply. So we'll leave that at 26. And then this damage type projectile with impact FX Tranq more. We need a copy of this. So we're going to hit our browser, grab that, copy here. And we're going to go ahead and remove that, and we'll just do YouTube Dart 1. Okay, we've renamed our damage type projectile. We're going to go ahead and overwrite to that right there. Everything else here is good. We'll save that. You can see how we just keep going item to item to item. Okay, so this right here. So this right here is how it's going to show how it's basically going to do this stuff right here. Okay, so remember earlier we said 600%, 250 over 5 seconds. So 6, which is 600%, 2.5, which is 250 over 5 seconds for Torpor. So that's how the calculations work. So the calculation is, I'll bring up the calculator here, as you can see, it's going to be 26 times 600. Oops. Sorry. 26 times 6 for 600%, right? That's 156. And then it's going to be 2.5 times 26, right? Which is 65. And then add that to the 156, which gives us 221. Which gives us 221. So if you want to know exactly what value you're going to put out at 100% damage, not hitting armor, that's why things like mate boosting and stuff like that, the armor that you get from that, diminishes your Torpor. So that's how you get that number. The weapon damage times the torpidity increase multiplier, which this is instant, and then add that to the damage multiplier, which is 2.5 times your weapon, and you add those together, and that's exactly how much you'll get. So we want this to be super high. So we're going to do, let's say, 20. We go from a 6 to a 20, right? And then we want the multiplier to add over time, let's say 5. Okay? So let's look at our calculator. We're going to go 26 times 20, just 520, right? And then 26 times 5, which gives you 130. So we're going to add that 130 to our 520 for a total of, hitting the button, for a total of 650. Okay, so this one dart now will do 650 versus the 221. So you can work out your math. If you wanted to do it all up front, you can do that, and then your Torpor will start dropping. You can have it do it really long by changing this speed to add over here. So that's how that works for torpidity. Be careful with things like food and hunger. So if you can click here, you can see like food, oxygen, water, stuff like that. A real quick edit cut here. The following values that I'm going to talk about are pertaining to things like hunger. When I mention a wild dino versus knocked out dino versus tame dino, things like hunger, water, stuff like that. Torpor value is universal across the board. So unless the server manager has changed Torpor values, they will be the same. So if you shoot a tame dinosaur and it'll do 221, you shoot a wild dinosaur, it'll do 221. Going forward, I'm strictly talking about things like hunger and trying to make dinosaur hunger go down on wild dinos. There are different values for a dinosaur that is wild, a dinosaur that is knocked out, and then a tame dinosaur. So if you're testing on a tame dinosaur in the dev kit to see, it's not going to be the same because the values are different for like wild dinos and the other one. And for my testing, it seems that when a dinosaur gets knocked out, their hunger gets reset. So you can't shoot them because everything is multiplicative of a number. So even if you tell it to do 0 damage, that 0 damage is going to get multiplied by 20, which will be 0. So it'll do nothing. So it seems you can't make a gun that will shoot things to reduce. You have to put it in their inventory. This does work on players or tame dinos, though. I think that's everything for this. Let's just make sure. Looks like it. All right. So we have 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus the Tranq Dart one. So it looks like we're ready to go ahead and test it. So our value, once again, should be 650. Okay, the sound should be back. That always comes out super loud, even if you turn the sound down. So I just spawned in a level 500 and force tamed it. You can see all the commands on like Arc ID and stuff, and on how to spawn things in. So we're gonna go ahead and just hit tab. We're gonna go over to our weapon here and find our primal item ammo, and we'll just go ahead and give us 50. 50 YouTube test darts. Go ahead and get out of that. We're going to drag that down. This is the base rifle. We drug it onto there. Go ahead and shoot it. And see what we get to. 650. Perfect. And then it starts dropping again. All right, guys. We have one more thing to do before we're all done with this. So we're going to go back into our YouTube folder here. We're going to open up our Primal Game Data BP. Now that we have our Primal Game Data BP open, we're going to go ahead and go down. And we're going to find... All right. Additional engram blueprint classes, which is just going to be right here. We're going to add. And then we're going to select our engram for our YouTube Dart. Right there. We're going to save. We'll actually open our engram real quick. Change this to level 0. Just for testing purposes. There it is right there, a YouTube Dart. We can't unlock it yet because we need the other one, but let's go ahead. I'm going to mute all this sound and just speed this up. All right, now that we are level 65, a little bit more than we need, we should be able to learn all prerequisite for 49. And there's our dart. And we can craft it directly from our inventory. Well, all right, guys, that go ahead and sums up this video right here. We've talked about how to basically create your own dart, how to assign that dart to a in-game weapon that you didn't have to create, just a base weapon. We talked about, of course, the value of making child classes and not moving items. You never want to do that. So if y'all like this video, if I flew over anything, if you have any further questions or comments, please go ahead and send me a message or a comment below. Thanks for watching.